Guys, so once you've all got it bolted into place, you've checked all your lines and you've got your welds in, you can now loosen all the bolts and then carefully take it off the truck. Well, before we do that, we're going to go ahead and try the face on, just to make certain that we're on the right track. And it just simply slips over. And you're going to want to line these outer edges up with the vertical frame plates. Yeah. Alright. Because your shackle mounts are going to be welded through to the back side of these vertical plates. So now that we've made sure that the face fits nicely, we can take that off one more time. And now we're going to remove the winch tray, or the box we call it, off the truck, put it on your work table, and we're going to start welding it out. Okay guys, so now that we've got the box off the truck and we've got it tacked in place, we want to start welding it out. And our welder here tells us that we need to start on this outside edge here, connecting the 3/8 frame plate to the side plate, followed by this weld here, and then this weld here. So basically weld your 3/8 frame plate to your box completely, and then we'll go over there. Alright guys, so once we've got that welded up, we're going to finish the box by welding these two right here on each side, and then go ahead and flip that over. And then on the back side, we're gonna tie this all in here, as well as this here. You want to tie this all the way into that previous weld that you made on this front side. Alright guys, now that we've got our winch tray all welded up, which we're going to put it on the table so we can get our face lined out. And you can see it pretty much wants to fit right there in the middle. Now what you want to make sure of is A, that you've got equal measurements from the outside plate to the edge of the thing, and B, that your pad eyes that we sent with you fit in the holes. That's going to give you a good indicator of whether it's lined up or not. If you line it up too far over one way, you won't be able to get the pad eye in. Right? So you can just take a look. Come see. If you take a look here, you're going to see there's going to be a little bit of edge right there. But you just want to make sure that there's enough to get the pad eye in there so you can be squared up. After you get it set in place, this is actually pretty good right where it's at. We're simply going to do a few tacks here at the corner and at the corner. Right, one right here on each side. And also, it wouldn't hurt to verify measurement on each side from the plate to the edge here, just so that you know everything is equal.
Should be about 3/16.
Should be about, ooh, that's warm. Should be about 3/16. My professional says. Okay, we've got the face tacked into place now, so it can't go anywhere. Next thing we're going to do is going to weld up these seams here, and pay special attention when you get to the edge here. It kind of every now and then it wants to kind of dip back in, so be sure to fill that out all the way, so that if we have to, we can just grind it off to make it nice and smooth. All right, the next thing we're going to do after we get that face welded out is flip this sucker around. I've used one of these pad eyes as a nice little prop here. But what we're going to want to do is weld the winch tray to the face of the bumper in 4 spots. We want to do a little stitch weld here on underneath each of these bolt holes for the fair lead, and another stitch weld here next to the hand holes, and then finally we want to weld this out right here running up the face. So what he's doing right now is wrapping it around from the side plate and winch tray weld. He's wrapping that around to the face of the bumper. Then he's going to skip over and do another little stitch weld closer to the edge. This will just help tie everything together. One final thing that we're going to weld up here is between the winch tray and the face of the bumper, we're going to get a nice weld right here. All right, so the next thing we're going to do here is we've already flipped the bumper over, and we're going to weld this line in here at the top of the faceplate to the side plate. Do that on both sides, and once you're done with that, we're going to flip it back over until its face, and we're going to finish welding the interior line here all the way down. All right, guys, so we pretty much got the whole bumper welded out, and before we can continue with getting our pad eyes mounted in, we need to go ahead and grind this away, because if you mount your pad eye now, you're not going to be able to clean this weld very easily, or even these welds. You're going to keep hitting your pad eye. So it's advisable to at least clean this section off if you want to continue welding everything out. Clean this section out, get your pad eye set in at a 90-degree angle, and then finish welding that. Then you can kind of hit up the rest of the spots. But the way we're going to do it is we're going to grind this area here and on both sides, and then get our pad eye set in. All right, guys, so we're in the final stages of getting this thing finished out. And the last thing we need to do before we get these pad eyes set in is that we really recommend putting a beveled edge on all these sharp corners right here, because if you do get this powder coated, these sharp edges from the laser are going to cause the powder to chip off more easily. So we recommend beveling that out all along those edges on both sides. Once you've done that, we've got a special little tool here we use to set the pad eyes in place. But the measurement that you're going to use is from the face of the bumper to the leading edge of the pad eye is 2.5 inches. Right? So from the face of the bumper to the leading edge of the pad eye is 2.5 inches. Once you've found that position of the 2.5 inches, you then just want to clamp it directly to this side plate here from the back side, and then guarantee that your measurements are correct and that it's square to the face. Once we do that, we're going to tack it in place on each one of these corners here, and then we'll be able to weld out both the back side and the front side for a complete weld through shackle mount. So we've got the bumper pretty much finished out, and from this point you can either decide to run it with no light bar on top, with no hoop on top, or you can decide to put the hoop on that we've included with your kit. And to do that, you can do that off the truck, and you just need to take a couple measurements and make sure it's all squared. But the measures we're looking for are about 1 inch from the edge of the steel right here to the back side of the hoop, and this is from the back side of the bumper, obviously. And then also about 1.5 inches from the edge of the hoop to this edge here. So we need 1.5 inches from here, and then 1 inch from the back side. Once you get that in place, the only other thing you need to do is, if you have a speed square somewhere, is there a speed square? With this speed square here, I recommend running it on the face here. After we get it tacked in place, it makes it easier. But basically, you just want to make sure that the hoop's height is the same all the way across. And on this particular one, it looks pretty goddamn good. With that done, and you've got your measurements in place, just go ahead and tack it in place right on the edge there, on each side, and then you can continue to make the weld all the way around. We recommend trying to do it in one complete pass, but that's really difficult. So if you start here and you weld it around to the inside edge and then weld it around to the inside edge, that'll make for a nice clean weld as well. All right, guys, so we hope you enjoyed our little introduction into building your own bumper here. And if you have any questions or comments or concerns, feel free to give us a shout on our Instagram or Facebook pages. And we look forward to seeing you next time.